Hello everyone, my name is Impurerio, otherwise known as Rio, and I am doing my first coding tutorial video. I haven't got a script for this video, so I'm trying a different format where I record at the same time as voiceover. So I haven't got a script, but I'm just showing you the basis of coding and how to make your own scripts and explaining pretty much what all of these are, hopefully in a normal format, and I will use In Your Heart as an example. So I can open a script here, and at first glance this may be really confusing, maybe a bit overwhelming to some people, especially with how much there is and considering how little content there is in the actual game. However, if I were to compare that to my Goodbye Once Again script, you will see there's actually quite simple, and despite how many lines of code there are, a lot of that is just optional or not as relevant as the actual game is. So we'll use In Your Heart as an example, and then if we need to, we can always look back at it for reference. I always recommend having this, but when you first download Ren'py, you'll have your tutorials. I recommend having one of these open as your reference. Right now I have two games I could use as my reference. We're going to use In Your Heart because it's completed. I'm not going to use it tutorials, but just use those open and reference back just so you can double check your code is how it should be. Now to make a new game in Ren'py, you're going to want to click the create new project down here, and I'm just going to name this whatever game example. We're going to have this as our example game. I use the 1920 by 1080 aspect ratio because that's the default, but obviously you can change it to whatever you want. I like using this one though because it's just simpler, but with some sprites, especially your main menu. I found this in my main menu for In Your Heart. I had to make the actual screen a bit smaller than the normal default ratios choice. It might not be that for you, but that's just what I found. And all this is pretty much the default colours for your game. So when you first have a Ren'py project, obviously you won't have everything set out. This is just your main colour scheme. These top ones are, as you can see, the colour scheme one. I don't really read this though. These also you have white backgrounds. These also you have black backgrounds. Personally, I prefer the black backgrounds because it's just easier for me. I use this one for In Your Heart, I use this one for Goodbye Once Again. But I'm going to use the blue one here, and as you can tell, all these are optional as well. So I'm going to use this bluish one for the white colour scheme, and Ren'py automatically creates it. It does take a few seconds to make, but then by the time it's done, you'll have, there you go, your project. If you put it in folders like how I have mine, you may need to refresh it for it to appear in whatever folder you made it. As you can tell, I have my test games here because I like making it a separate file just to test specific features so I don't have to constantly replay my whole games. This is that minute game I had, this for a timer that I had, and this is just a general test code for me to use. I won't be opening these today because it does contain content for Goodbye Once Again, which I don't want to spoil. Anyway, back to game example. So all of these are your folders in your directory. This is your general game folder where all of the lower, sorry, just try pointing my actual finger, where all of these are located. These are your images. You can put every image you want in here. I would open these, but they will ruin my format that I got right now. So if you click on these, it will automatically open the folder. So it's very handy. This is your GUI, so that I put my main menu stuff in here, buttons, your Windows icon, all that in your GUI. Audio, self-explanatory, sound effects, music, voice acting if you have that for your games. Images is sprites, backgrounds, assets, just general stuff like that which will appear in your game in one way or another. I like making folders in the folders. So like in my images folders, I make separate files for my sprites, so they're all in one folder, my background, my assets, and all that are in their own folders. And yeah, so we're gonna start with the script because this is probably the easiest one to understand. As you can tell, this is automatically done. I would recommend deleting all all of this here, so you just have this empty space. I get rid of this part just because I know all of it is, and then I like just doing it so I have this. This is pretty much what you need. The things that you should always keep is your label start and your return. Never delete those because it enables the start of your game and your return. Labels help you keep your stuff organized, so if you have multiple moments, you don't have to use label start, whatever. But you do have to have a label and then the colon next to your label. So if I go down and label hello, you can see that this is now a label called hello. So we're going to use Aline as our default, but if you want to make a new character, you can define, and then whatever letter, I'm going to do H equals character brackets. For me, the version I'm using automatically gives me the brackets I have. Use speech marks in it, and then that's named as character Harry. Now, technically that's all you need, but you can also do comma color equals hashtag. Oh, sorry, I didn't realize pressing shift. Color equals hashtag, and then or color hashtag. So I might have to go back. Yeah, I'm gonna reference. This is one of the things that I had to Google at first. Here you can see color reference, and what I was doing wrong was I was forgetting the second speech marks in my color. I got that right idea. So if I do it now with the hashtag, and you can see that I automatically have the color pop up once it registers, and then you can use this just to scroll and change the color, or you can find your color online and then you can just import it into this bit here. Now I'm going to leave that out just because it's not needed. So we got Aline and Harry as our main characters. Use the tab button to go into your label, if that makes sense, so you're not working in a separate area to your label. All this will be underneath the one label. So I do speech marks without any like E or H. Those two are the characters. If you use those, that will make the characters say the speech. If you don't use it, it comes up as narration without any speech, and then you can use different text tags to change like italics, but we'll get into that either in the next part or later in this video. It depends how long this takes. So let's quickly write out a quick script. Aline walks into a coffee shop and she sees her old friend Harry. Now, if I were to use add-on, sorry, just getting onto this. If I use jump hello, then that automatically jumps it to this label. But then if you use the menu, actually there's a better way to lay it out, sorry for that. Should she say hello? Hello. And then you close off menu, and then using the colon you can make it so these are your options and give you different branches. I recommend plotting out your branches before you code them in, just so it keeps you better track of where you want stuff to move, how you want stuff to move, and all that. So then you can do yes, jump, hello, or you can do pass to automatically go to the next part. In this case, we're not going to use pass because that's slightly more complicated than just to jump in. It's not that complicated, but it's just something that you need a bit more thinking on. Jump, ignore, and you can tell even though I don't have a place to ignore, it automatically jumps because it thinks that's what a label is. So quickly make your label ignore, and now it has an actual place to jump to. So then you can do assume and greets him kindly. I'm using this really simply and using simple language just so it's easier to understand. Also because I'm tired and it is it's 20 past 8 right now as of I'm recording this. and I might have to re-record this depending on how bad the audio quality is, or I might just voice over it, I don't know, so I'm hoping it's fine. Anyway, using E, I can make Eileen say it. Always use speech marks, it would never appear if you don't use speech marks. Hello, how are we? Now, there are different ways you can do this, but I just like doing it like this because it's simple. But you can also use the define feature to just put it as this instead. Using square brackets, hello, H. And then, because of that, in order to define it is H for Harry, so it automatically corrected to Harry. However, I might have triple pause, but that depends on your computer, your Ren'py, whatever you're using, and stuff like that. But it doesn't matter. Anyway, let's finish off Eileen and Harry's interaction, and I'll get back to you after I finish making them greet each other. Okay, so now I've wrote about Eileen greeting Harry and then going to order a coffee, and you can tell I've got another jump to coffee, which will make it so it doesn't interact with the ignore label at all. So let's quickly write that in. Label coffee. It's also easier if you don't use capital letters or anything like that, unless there's multiple of the things, then you can use like capital letters, underscores, just variations. But keep track of what you're doing. Also, this is a handy trick. But if you go to your labels and when you finish it, you can just close it off like that to save room, so it looks a little less overwhelming. You can also open them up again with the same arrow, so you can see what you have wrote and what you haven't. Now I'm going to write about ignoring Harry, and then we'll write the coffee part together. Now, I finished writing the ignore, as you can tell it's really short, but this is an instance where the pass would work without a problem. Because the coffee is the next part, it will automatically jump to the next label. Or jump past whether. You know what I'm trying to say, I hope, because I'm really bad at explaining this. This is my first time, as you can tell. Anyway, so writing the coffee, I can now add different variables. So if we go down, and this is where that hashtag will come in handy. Because if you go to the top, you can write hashtag characters, and that label, sorry, I just punched my microphone. You can write hashtag characters, hashtag defaults, and then you can default iced and coffee equals false. Default hot underscore coffee equals false. Now these automatically give you your variables for what you want, and then it will also let you just change it. If I go to in your heart, my defaults right here are all like my variables, such as the points for the player, the help systems, the left systems, and this can help if I go down. This can help with specific dialogues, where if you want something to be true, they will say a certain band, or if something else is true, they say different band, and so on. This can help unlock more variety in what you say and what you do, as well as giving like options for special dialogues that you require some amount of points for, or if you require something else for. For example, you can tell that these variables unlock the different ends. This unlocks the bad end 1, which I actually forgot to put in, but I like doing this for organisation to tell where my endings are. Like this is neutral ending 2 for in your heart, and this will go down to neutral ending here, and then fail neutral ending and just normal neutral ending. I have different variations of this, such as Ned to capital NA for Ned, and so on. This can help me just so I can have the same labels but in different variations, so I know what to do. Now let's make Eileen order her coffee, and then we can decide then what variables we will have her do. Okay, so now we have written about Eileen ordering her coffee, and as you can see, I also added a new character called the waiter. You might find that you might need more characters than what you originally intended, just as like placeholder characters. For example, in Your Heart, I actually had to have a whole character for Stranger, the police officer, Ronan, and main character. We'll get onto the POV stuff next episode. This is just the very basics of how to write a short third-person story not involving the player. all of this stuff will be different videos, such as all the images, such as sprites, assets, CGs, and backgrounds will all be their own video. Audios will be all their own video, how to source them, how to make them, how to import them, and so on. And the specific requirements to have it, because you may find audios, some of them don't play, some of them do, some of them aren't properly labeled, and you don't know what to do to fix it. So that'll be its own video, so stay tuned for that. So we have our waiter asking Aline if she wants a hot or cold coffee, which is where this menu comes back in. You'll use the menu a lot, and when I say a lot, I mean you'll pretty much use it in every single dialogue you may have, unless it's a third-person story with no player input, and it's just like a literal visual novel. You read it and the choice is already made. The menus let the player make choices and give you different branches to go off of. I've explained that earlier, but that's just more detail of how you will use them and why it's really simple. So let's have her either order hot coffee, and then always remember your colon, or her cold coffee. Now this is where those variables come into check. So if we have her order a hot coffee, then we can have the $sign hot_coffee, and it automatically appears here as that. So I'm going to close goodbye once again. I had that open originally, so showing variables that I had of full goodbye once again. Hot coffee equals true. So now we have the hot coffee being true in that label, and then iced coffee equals true as well. So I will write the dialogues for this, and I will be right back, because you can reference back up here to how to do it. I will also explain more in a second. Okay, so now I wrote my choices. This, you simply do dialogue like this, where it's just normal, and then you jump to what part you want next. It's very simple once you get the hang of it, and once you realize what you're actually doing. I'm quickly just going to organize all of my choices so they're not clumped together like that. So if I were to open them all, it would be a lot easier for me to understand, because there'll be gaps in between it, and easier for me to find the gaps. So we're getting to the end, and I realised I wanted to have the variable of saying hello to Harry have some input to the player. So back to our default, so you can do default Harry greeted equals false. So now that's false. We can go back to should she say hello, and then add in with the same variable thing, Harry underscore greeted true. Underscore greeted true equals true. Now this is going to get a bit confusing, but stick with me and you'll understand very quickly. So I wanted, so as Aline leaves, if she said hello to Harry at first, he will notice her say, oh, you got iced or cold coffee, iced or cold, iced or hot coffee, and then Aline would respond. If she didn't say hello, that entire dialogue would be skipped. So that's how you do it. Aline goes to leave the coffee shop. I will also add in the end dialogue, just because it will help me know when the end is. The end. Right, down. And this is where if variables come in, but they're very simple once you again understand how they're used. So if we go if, and then Harry underscore greeted, you don't need the variable sign for this, you just need this, Harry underscore greeted, double equal sign, I don't know why, but use double, then it works, equals true. You can do H, and then we're going to do a double if here, so keep your hats on please. Bye, Aline. If, let's do it with the iced coffee equals true. H, enjoy, oh my gosh, enjoy your iced coffee. And then you can do elif hot underscore coffee. Oh my god, I keep misclicking, I'm sorry. Underscore coffee equals true. Then you can do Oh, you can see I noticed I didn't get it because it didn't automatically go to the tab. Always do your thing, and then you can tab and it'll work. I like lining it up so I make sure I'm actually tabbing it correctly after doing that mistake. If hot coffee equals true, enjoy your hot coffee. And then down, E, thanks, Harry, see you later. And then you can write the next one, else, which is where if Aline didn't greet him. Also, I just noticed elves need elves, so you can technically in this scenario you don't need to write anything else because one of these will always be true. Else, so just fill it in with pass. Else pass. And then this is if Harry wasn't greeted. Else Aline leaves the shop alone. And then Control S to save your script. So now it's all saved. Now this isn't much, and a way to figure out the dialogue, how many words you have, you use this extract dialogue. None, you strip text tags, and then it'll come out in this format here. You press continue, and if I could show you it, I would show you the dialogue tab, but I can't. So we will just go into this, and then you launch your project to test if it works. And it launches. So game example, this is my main menu. You can see this is all the preferences. This can be edited in a later video. This is about your Ren'py project, and all of these can be edited and removed. So let's start the game. We have Aline walks into a coffee shop and she sees her old friend Harry. Should she say hello? You press yes. Also, this will help you with developing. If you press Shift and D at the same time, you get this developer menu come up. You can use Interactive Director to have it appear at the top on what line you are at. Shift D again and you can view your variables, so you can see Harry is true. The others are false, and you can go back and obviously do all these as well. She walks up to Harry and greets him kindly. Hello Harry, hello Aline, fine day isn't it? It is indeed. And then it goes to Aline, then goes to order coffee, and then you can tell jump coffee, label coffee. So that means that it ignored all the ignore section here. Now she goes, hello, I would like some coffee please, hot or cold, and this will impact latest dialogue. So cold coffee please, coming right up. Aline goes and leaves coffee shop. Bye Aline, enjoy your iced coffee. Thanks Harry, see you later, the end. And it automatically takes you to the end of the game. Now let's try this without saying hello, and then we'll try it again with hot coffee. So let's go straight to coffee. Hot coffee, let's get that. And she leaves the shop alone, the end. Now one more time with the hello and hot coffee. Hot coffee please, come right up. Bye Aline, enjoy your hot coffee. Thanks, see you later, the end. And then that is how you get your game to work. Now this is really simple, and then you can also do more, such as defining different backgrounds and then add the noise in. At this point I don't have any backgrounds to add in, but next episode we will add in the backgrounds and temporary character sprites, and I'll show you how to source those yourself. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope it was somewhat helpful for learning how to do simple stories like this, and introduce you to menus and if dialogues as well as variables. This was a bit of a mix, but it's good to learn so you know how to add more variety and diverse routes to your game. You can plan out your game through different websites. My favourite one to use is Twinery, where you make your own routes and you can connect it like that, but that needs to be its whole video on Twinery because it is a bit confusing. Anyway, I will see you next episode. Bye!